I appreciate you. I understand you. You belong here. You are welcome here. I love you. You were right. I agree with you. What you're doing is important. You are worthy of love. You are an important part of what is happening. So, what is it that you want or need someone to say to you? Well, that has definitely changed for me over the years. When I was younger, I desperately needed someone to say that they loved me. I needed someone to tell me that I was valuable, that I was worthy. And when you walk around in a state of feeling worthless and feeling like you are not important and no one loves you, you kind of desperately seek that for yourself, that you need someone to say those things to you. And it can get you in trouble because you can go seeking those things, going seeking love, seeking approval, seeking your worthiness in bad places, and that can get you tangled up with bad people. Now, as I've gotten older, you know, I do have cheerleaders in my life, so I have people that say these things to me. And more than the words that they say, their actions and perhaps the way that they feel when they're around me makes me actually believe them, because there have been times when my husband and my friends and my family could have told me a million times, we love and appreciate you. All the work that you're doing and all the things that you are doing are very valuable. And I didn't believe them. And I needed to find those things for myself. And I needed to know that my family and the people that loved me were loyal and they were not out to hurt me or use and abuse me. So at this point in my life, I do still need people to tell me that I'm appreciated, because a lot of times I feel like we work really hard, and we do a lot of things that maybe go unnoticed. And not that you always need praise for what you do, but you do need to feel like you're appreciated, because a worker needs to be paid. I guess that's kind of how it feels like to me. It's difficult to just continue to do all the things that you do and pour yourself into something, your family, your work, some humanitarian effort, if you feel like it's going without appreciation or that you don't really belong there. And that's another thing that I really, at one time, really needed to hear, is you belong here. Because as a lot of INFJs say, we never feel like we belong. So knowing and hearing that you do belong here and your input and your presence is valuable is something that I really needed to hear. And I'm realizing that some of that feeling of not belonging was not necessarily other people's doing. It was my perception of, their reaction to me, or even their their emotional state, which had nothing to do with me, coming into a situation or a group that I was trying to join or be part of. And I, felt their feelings and thought that they didn't want me there, and having to realize that I'm not necessarily having anything to do with that. It's not all about me. So, but that feeling of belonging and knowing that your presence is missed when you're not there has been something that has been important to me. And I realize the world does not revolve around me. I realize that a lot of things that go on and places I go and groups I join do not completely revolve around me. And as I'm saying these things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound like the most selfish creature on the earth. But anyway, today's question is, what do you really need someone to say to you? Or what do you wish someone would say to you? And more than just those words that they could say, because, people throw around the words, I love you, without really even understanding what they mean, I think sometimes. And without, like actions and true feeling behind it, sometimes those words aren't even enough. And to a very high level of frustration for my poor husband in our marriage, that I have many times said to him, you don't love me. And the poor guy, because he has, stuck with me, been loyal to me, been my biggest cheerleader. And many times I denied that he loved me. I just told him because he wasn't doing XYZ, there's no way he could love me. And so I'm going to pose that question to you. What is it that you need someone to say to you, that you wish someone would say to you? I think it depends on where we are in our lives, different ages, different, paths that we've taken. At this point, all I need to hear is, well done, good and faithful servant. That's where I'm at right now. I do still very much appreciate when people cheer me on, of course, acknowledge my existence, that sort of thing, because sometimes I feel like I try to make myself invisible, but at the same time, you don't want to be invisible. You want to be appreciated, but you want to like slink in and out. It's so goofy. But there's a contradiction again with us. But yeah, so not making a lot of point, but that's my question for you today. What do you need to hear from someone? And looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend here, and I'm super happy it's still summertime. So live and love out of the way you were created.